Hello and welcome back. And in this video, we're going to be talking about ZStack alignment. So ZStack alignment refers to the way in which child views within a ZStack are positioned in basically relation to other views that exist inside the ZStack. By default, the views within ZStack are positioned center in both vertical and horizontal axis. Now, we can specify a different alignment option for the views using the alignment parameter. Now, there are some available options for the alignment parameters like leading, trailing, top, bottom, and center. So let's go ahead and basically include that in our example. Okay, so first thing we're going to need is basically we're going to need a big enough image that'll act as a background, because ZStack is another stack which only takes as much space as needed to render its content. To prove that, I'm going to go into our previous example and I'm going to go into the static mode where we can actually stop the running preview, which is selectable state, and then select the ZStack. Notice that the blue rectangle represents the frame of ZStack. This is the space that ZStack is taking, basically the size of the ZStack itself. Even though we see our views basically going outside, we can still tell that ZStack only exists within this frame, which is basically the size of the object inside it, which is 200 by 200. Okay, so if we set the alignment just by without having, for example, this guy, then the alignment is not going to have any effect because the views are going to just move around with the alignment, but because their sizes are same, they're going to look as is. Okay, so what we're going to do is let's go ahead and first create our second example. And then I'll actually do something just to show you the fact that basically assigning alignment is not going to have any effect. Okay, so we're going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to remove this guy. Okay, and the way to pass the alignment is basically by passing the alignment parameter during the initialization. So we're going to simply say alignment, and we can set all these other options. Now, alignment is defined by default as center, which is why you don't have to supply it when you're creating a ZStack, but you can change it to, let's say, bottom. Okay, and notice that even though we have actually we have changed the alignment to be bottom, our view is gonna appear as is. Okay, so it's not going to have any effect. Now, here's something that I'm going to do. We're going to basically take our frame, and then first thing we're going to do is we're going to basically make our width, basically the width of the view, depending upon which index we are in. Okay, so we're going to say CG float, and then we're going to basically pass our index. So let's pass our index. Okay, so we passed our index. Now we're going to multiply this by 30. Okay, so we're going to basically, what we're going to see is the views growing in size, in terms of the width. So as you can see, these outlines, these are basically the size of different views. Okay, and this is because we are in selectable state, but when app is running, you're gonna notice that we have this this different effect, which is basically creating kind of this center shadow, and this almost makes me feel that this is a cylinder in 3D space. Okay, so that's what it looks like. Now what the other thing that we can do is we can set the offset on the y-axis only. So we can say offset and we're gonna say we only need y offset, so we're gonna cg float on our with our index value and multiply this by 20. By the way, these 20 and 30, these are randomly selected values. I'm just using them so we can actually see the example. I'm going to change the height of the view itself to 30 as well, just to make it look like, a little bit interesting. So this is the effect that we get. Okay, so now you can see that we have the offset defined for our view, and we have basically this sort of like a Tower of Hanoi kind of a view that is created. Okay, now you must be thinking, let's try this. Okay, I'm gonna change this to top. All right, and as soon as I change the alignment to top, notice that nothing actually happens. The reason is because even though we are actually applying different sizes, they're still like being offset. And if you stop our view, our ZStack's size basically remains the same. It's actually this thin blue line that is its size, so it's not gonna move like when you change any of the alignment. But in order to see this in effect, we want to put something that's bigger than the current view, so it can take like rest of the available space, and then this view has a freedom to move around, or these views have a freedom to move around. Okay, so what we're gonna do is in the assets I have this DT logo image, and I'm going to load this image in the background. Okay, so right before for each, I'm going to say just take the image DT logo, okay, and render it in its full size. Okay, so reason we are doing that, so it can take like all the available space. You can say like scale to fill as well, that way like it's only filling, basically it's the same effect. But let's try scale to fit and see if we can. Okay, yeah, actually we forgot to make it resizable. Let's go ahead and make it resizable and scale to fill. There we go. So now we can see that our view is actually sitting like sort of in the top. Okay, let's change this at the bottom, and this view should actually move at the bottom. Okay, so you can see now that our ZStack size, it has actually increased. Okay, so ZStack size is increased, and this is where the bottom is. Now, the reason you're seeing your views going beyond the limit of ZStack, which they were going already, is because of this offset value that we have defined. If I actually take the offset value out, you're gonna see that like that cylinder view, which looks almost like a disk now, is now sitting at the bottom, and I can actually move it to top as well, just like that. Okay, so this is how you can actually use ZStack. Now I'm gonna basically move this in at the bottom, and let's go ahead and try bottom leading. Okay, let's see how that changes. So as you can see, not only the view changed, but the rest of the, basically because the rest of the views changed its position to leading, the shadow has shifted as well. So shadow is now like towards the leading edge. Okay, it almost makes it look like a baseball bat. Okay, let's see what else can I show you. Let me go ahead and put this as an offset, and you can see this becomes a ladder, and you can create like some interesting effects, maybe like having this for each repeat, like for this corner, and this corner in different ZStacks, and make it appear that way. So there are like several options that you can combine and create a really complex view just using ZStack. Now ZStack, with all this like knowledge that you have gained, there's one thing that stands out. ZStack, because it's actually basically in the Z space, it actually works perfect for your background. Basically, it's perfect to be used as a background color, or to define a background color or a background image and stuff like that. So you can actually use it that way. For example, excuse me. So for example, you can actually, believe it or not, this is what we were doing with the image, but let's change this example a little bit, and let's put like, a static or a solid color in the background. So I'm gonna create a new example. And let me go ahead and take this, and I'm just simply going to put this in a ZStack. All right, and right here we're gonna put a color. Okay, so let's go ahead and use color.orange. All right, and what we should see is basically orange color taking over the background. So this becomes our background instead of white color, but we have this like, safe area colors peeking out. We can easily fix that by saying edges ignoring, safe area all. So we don't want to basically use safe area. We want to ignore those edges, and we want to bleed through our background, and this almost becomes like, basically your new background. So as you can see now, that your content is basically now presented in a different kind of background, and you can change it programmatically. You can animate it and do certain other things, but this is how you can use ZStack basically within your apps to create some interesting views. All right, now this is it for this video. In the next video, we're going to talk something similar to the topic that we discussed today, but it's gonna have a slight variation, because we're gonna create a utility that you're gonna basically you can use inside your apps. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.